What is going on, Bulls Nation? So now, off season, it's a lot of time ahead of us, but we're gonna talk about what the Bulls' plan might be and what are the possibilities this front office has for us right after this.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, Bulls Nation. So it's been done. They got the exit interview a day ago, and I listened to it, and as probably you guys as well. And what I got from it, basically, the gist of it is that they know things have to be made, but are they gonna do it? That is the question. I always felt like AK put together a competent team, maybe not a championship team, but a competent team. But I always felt like the coach didn't maximize the potential of these players, and I still stand behind that. It's evident by the last game against the Heat. Now, I'm not saying that we are going to win the championship with this roster, but I always felt that we are at least a second round out. With that being said, is that good enough? No, but it's really hard, even with a competent roster, to be a champion in the NBA. We all know that, but all you want is a chance, and maybe a freak injury happens. You don't want to wish that, but you never know what could happen in the NBA. And if you are in that path, you always have this idea that maybe you're one piece away. Maybe a big time free agent would sign with the Bulls, something like that. But that's not going to happen this offseason. We don't have any assets. We don't have a cap space. There's a lot of things that we don't have, and it's going to be challenging for the front office to build a competent team with what's dealt with them. And mind you, there's no one else to blame but them because they assembled this roster. The intent was good. I'm not going to lie. When all these signings happened, I was excited, but this is what happens when you have a roster of no one is a generational talent. I said that before. Normally, a championship team is consisting of not one, two generational talents. We don't have that in this team. And it looks like Billy, AK and Mark Eversley assembled a team that is pretty good on paper. And you're hoping that you can kind of recreate the Detroit Pistons of '04. Well, not defensive-wise, but as far as roster construction, where none of these guys are generational talent, but, as collective unit, they would function well. That didn't happen. Again, the intent was good. I guess the biggest component of that, the engine of that, would be Lonzo, and he went down. We saw a glimpse of that, but that's not going to happen anymore. I highly doubt Lonzo's going to be back anytime soon, if ever, in the NBA, or maybe even a competent player. Maybe he'll be a rotational guy down the line, but it's not going to be the same anymore. So we got to move past that Lonzo dream. Now, what's in front of us is two options, basically, or three options. The easiest option here is to tear this thing down. You tear them down. Why? Because we have our own pick this year. And next year, it's top 10 protected, which is the protection is a little bit larger. So if you tank right, you're going to retain that pick up until it conveys, or, you talk to San Antonio, whatever the case is. I would say that is the easiest path, depending on the offer that's going to be yielded with these players. And that starts with Zach LaVine, because I think he's the most valuable player in this Bulls roster. If somebody offers a 3 first-rounder, maybe not unprotected all of them, but 3 first-rounders and a young player for Zach LaVine, if I was the Bulls, I'd get that. I don't know if the Bulls are dead set on being competitive next season. I don't know about that. There's a lot of hanging in the balance with this Bulls team, but we also have some assets that we could kind of parlay and auctioned off, basically. The thing is that we don't have a lot of young stars. We have Kobe White, and Ayo Dosunmu, and Patrick Williams is, the brightest young talent in here, and that's not saying much. You don't really see a blue chipper when you talk about Patrick Williams and Kobe. You see some good contributing guys, rotational guys, but I don't know if you can build around them. I'm pretty sure you can't yet. They could be the next Lauri Markkanen for all we know. They go to a different team and then all of a sudden they blossom. And that's doing part of the coaching staff and all that stuff, so I'm not going to blame that on the front office if you can't get the best out of your players. Now, with that being said, that's the easiest path, but I feel like that is not the path that this front office is willing to take unless they get like this massive offer maybe that they can't refuse. Now, the moment you trade Zach and you trade Zach for assets, you have to just blow it up. By that, I mean you trade DeMar the next. Hopefully you can get a first out of DeMar to just recoup the cost that you trade for him. And then Vooch, hopefully you can get a sign and trade. If not, you let him walk. But you can't trade Zach and keep both at the same time, or either. You just got to blow it up, keep Patrick Williams, Ayo, and Kobe on the team. But again, like I said earlier, I feel like this front office and the management is forcing them to be competitive. And we could be competitive. I just don't know with how and with so much holes that we have. If you are going to keep Billy Donovan, and this is my take on this, if you want to be competitive, you can't and keep the same roster because it's very limited what you could do. Even if you let Vooch walk away, you probably have like 118 on your salary. The cap here next year is around 136. So you have 18 million to play around, and then the mid-level. But the mid-level is, you sign shooters for that. Maybe Yuta Watanabe and all that stuff. And I'm going to create a separate video for that. Can you really sign for 18 million if you let Vooch walk? Maybe Jakob Poeltl. I highly doubt Toronto's just going to let him walk for 18 million since they trade a first rounder for him. So it gets murky after that because there's really no impactful player that you could sign for 18 million. And this is already a flawed roster as we know. Now the easiest path to this is take out Billy Donovan. You hire another coach. I don't know who that will be, and you hope for a different result. Different result meaning maybe this new coach could squeeze more out of this roster, and maybe on the way there, then you sign a couple of shooters, maybe a rebounder, and all that stuff. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen the next few days, and also what I would do is in the next few days, I would try to construct a competitive roster. I know it's going to be difficult with the constraints of what Chicago has, with the assets that we have in the salary cap holds that we do have, that I guess more realistic. I'm not going to have Damian Lillard and all that stuff because I know that's kind of impossible, but this is going to be interesting. I'm going to play a little GM here, and it's not going to be pretty. Let me tell you that. But thank you for watching. If you're a Bulls fan, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.